You're listening to Southbeat with Leanne. Great to have your company. Right, let's talk to Paul Anderson now from NZSki. G'day there, Paul.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. How's it all going with you this Monday?
It's going well. Yeah, no, we're still pretty busy on the mountains, and of course we've got fantastic snow cover at the moment, so great conditions for everyone getting out and amongst it.
Yeah, it seems to me that the holiday rush it hasn't, even though that we're not in holidays, you're still pretty hectic, aren't you?
Yeah, look, it's been really steady. We had a particularly busy school holiday period, and then Monday a week ago I was actually up on Coronet Peak, and I was pleasantly surprised at the vibe and the number of people up there. Yeah, it's continued on. People are loving it.
But there's a new player. I mean, well, obviously the Remarks have been there for a while, but the Remarkables is taking on Coronet. According to you guys, you're saying that it's actually now more popular than the Peak.
Yeah, look, in some years it has been. Since we did those, the first round of expansion in 2014, 2015, we have had some years where Remarkables visitation has exceeded Coronet Peak's. I don't think that'll be the case this year. Coronet Peak's done really well this year, and obviously its proximity to town makes it really appealing for visitors. But we see the Remarkables as a great place to develop for the future.
Yeah, and I love the headline. It's like faster, bigger, snowier, you know, because it's an imposing ski field anyway, isn't it? I mean, just driving up there because you have to make an effort. It's 40 minutes, do you reckon? 35, 40 minutes up there?
Yeah, from Queenstown Central it would be. It's just about 15 minutes further than Coronet Peak. But it's still short by world standards to get there, and it's right on the doorstep of those communities that are growing very quickly down towards Hanley's Farm and Jack's Point.
Yeah, that's right. Very accessible for them. If you're looking to buy and invest close to a ski field, that's where you want to go. Now, so let's talk about firstly the new chairlift. Like a brand new 6-seater is going to replace Shadow Basin, the chairlift, which has been there for a long time. How many years?
It's 32 years old now, but like a lot of chairlifts, they become like Grandad's old axe. You replace parts of them year by year, and I think probably the only parts of that chairlift that are still original would be the towers and the chairs and the covers of the terminals. A lot of the drive and the rope and the grips and all that kind of thing gets regularly upgraded.
Now, so plans to put in this new 6-seater, and that will be a longer ride and also faster.
Yeah. So we want to slightly change the line of that chairlift and take it up to what I refer to as the top of the Alta Chutes. There will still be a green/blue trail away and back into Shadow Basin. But what that does is it increases the vertical rise from 321 metres to 375 metres, and it gives our guests access to another 47 hectares of skiable terrain.
A lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wonderful terrain in there, and of course with more modern chairlifts you improve the safety systems. We get to upgrade the carrying capacity, so currently we move 1,500 people an hour. This will move 2,400 an hour, and for the guests it's much quicker. So the existing chairlift takes 8.3 minutes. This new one would be 3.5 minutes, so that means more time on snow.
That's a big reduction, in time on the chair.
Yeah, and look, for us it's part of our ongoing commitment to keep on investing in these ski areas and bring the very best to Queenstown.
Okay, so tell us about this tunnel, because I'm just trying to get my head around this idea. So you want to get into this area called the Doolans, and so this sounds a really major work that you need to do to access it. What's the plan?
Yeah, so the Doolans is a beautiful, it's more than one basin. There's about 3 or 4 basins over there to the southeast of the existing ski area. and it was actually where the Remarkables ski area was originally envisaged to go back in the mid-80s when Mount Cook Company looked to start a ski area in the Remarkables. The reason it wasn't put there is to get road access, you have to go all the way into Gibbston Valley and then all the way back. So hence the ski area was developed in the Rathsburn, which is closer to Queenstown. So we've taken some advice, and the advice is that the easiest and most environmentally sensitive way to get over to the Doolans would be to go to put a tunnel through, which is about 200 to 300 metres long, from the top of the existing lift Curvy Basin, and it would be a cruisy little ski through there, and it opens up into the entire valley. These are pretty common in Europe. There's a lot of ski-through tunnels in Europe, and in New Zealand we use tunnels in a lot of places, road tunnels, rail tunnels, there's hydro, so tunnels in a ski context in New Zealand are new, but it's not unusual to be putting tunnels in.
Sounds interesting, but what about in terms of like impacting the landscape? Is it a low impact job? It doesn't sound like it if you're tunnelling through.
It's actually less impact than a lift. So a lot of people have said, well, hey, how about you look at putting a lift over? And that is absolutely one of the options. And we will go out and talk to the community on that. But to put a lift in, you actually have to build temporary roads. You have to put towers up a ridge. So you get the visual of a lift on the landscape, whereas with a tunnel, it's 2 7 to 8 metre portals at each end, and also in terms of maintenance and safety, there's very little maintenance for a tunnel once it's built, and they're very safe.
Okay, so you certainly favour the tunnel option.
Yeah, at this stage we do. We're going through a lot of feasibility and what the costs would look like, but we think a tunnel is a far preferable option to a lift up there.
And how much are we looking at? I've read a huge figure, 18 million or something for these works.
No, that's for the Shadow Basin lift. The Shadow Basin lift and development will be in the vicinity of 18 million, and that will be not this summer but the following summer, so the summer of 23-24, because we need to go through a careful planning process with DOC before we get approval to do that. So that's the focus there. The tunnel is at its very early stages. In Europe they will do tunnels for as little as €10,000 a metre. So for that tunnel that I was talking, in European landscape, that would be about €3 million. But in New Zealand we expect it to be a little bit more expensive because we'll need to make sure we carefully support the tunnel on the way through. We've got to do that work.
And of course there'll be public consultation, like you said. I mean, it's early days, but this is your vision for the bigger, brighter Remarkables.
Yeah, that's right. And we've always been very open about our ambition to open the Doolans up for recreational skiing. And it was about last November, I stood up in a meeting in Queenstown and kind of announced it and said, look, this is what we see. We want to talk to our community and we want to know that we've got the community's support before we go there. And we know there'll be some groups who perhaps would prefer we don't go there, but we're just wanting to have a really open conversation, and for the future of recreational skiing in the Wakatipu Basin, we think this is the best option.
Okay, so that's right. It's just like announcing it to the world, starting the process. I totally get how you need to upgrade chairlifts and things, and surely would you say the feedback you've had so far is more in favour of than against these plans, or what are you picking up in the community?
Yeah, the feedback's been really positive on the whole. I'd say 95% positive. The business community I spoke to last year they were really on board. Obviously, our local skiing community, and if you live in the Wakatipu Basin, most people here it's part of their recreation. So it's not just a commercial proposition; it's part of the recreation for the local communities. They're super keen to see us get over there. So there's some of the groups that would like more reassurance on what our plans are to make sure we play our part and leave that place better than it would be without us. And we truly believe we can, and we can show some of the work we've done on the Rastusburn side in terms of native revegetation and predator control over there. We're really proud to have a lot of care actually now living in and around the remarkable ski area who weren't there 7-8 years ago because of the predator population, but we've dealt with that with a lot of trap lines.
Yeah, good. Actually, the Kia I think they're a very key factor to the uniqueness of Remarks. Like when you're up there and they're pecking at your table and they're hanging around. It's really cool. It just feels nice.
Well, it's their spot. I mean, our staff have named a lot of them, and they're absolutely part of the character of the place. Yeah,
very much so. So this winter, my goodness, I mean, how much snow? It's just been phenomenal. And I see that what you've got your percentage of guests is about 20% higher than in 2019. Are you feeling like you could be at a record here?
Yeah, look, the biggest year we've had so far was 2018. And we would be above 2018 right now. So if it carries on like it is now, it's going to be a really solid season, not just for us, but obviously it's helped breathe a lot of economic life back into downtown Queenstown and Frampton and beyond.
Very much.
So we're really stoked to be able to do our part there.
Yeah, no, you can feel that, can't you? And because things needed to, it was dead, it was depressed, things weren't good, and You can feel it, the energy coming back, and of course today. Okay, so we've got our borders open now. Are you anticipating a great deal of people, from far afield, on the ski fields? Do you have an idea?
Look, I'd say a few. I don't think we'll really notice it this season. Probably going into next season, we'll start to notice a few people who are here for longer terms. The big change for us was getting that Australian border back open. That has made a massive difference. The Australians coming into Queenstown, staying in the hotels, spending in the bars, and using all the other attractions that Queenstown's got to offer, as well as coming skiing and riding with us.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a great school holiday season, and it might not have been the sunniest winter or July that we've had. It's certainly been a bit more inclement, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been much wetter, that's for sure, but with that comes this amazing snowpack we've had, so it certainly hasn't held people back from getting up on the mountains.
No, that's right. Hey, so also just before you go, Paul, discussing the US team, I understand, are coming here to train. Have they arrived?
Look, to be honest, I'm not sure. There's a number of alpine ski teams coming to Queenstown to train, mainly Coronet Peak. Coronet Peak's kind of the home of alpine ski racing in New Zealand, and we've got great facilities out in Rocky Gully there. So we've got a number of teams from both Europe and North America who are coming to town. They'll be training up on Coronet Peak and probably enjoying a bit of golf or whatever in the afternoon, and hopefully spending a bit of money downtown.
Yeah, it's always quite buzzy when you see these guys up on the mountain, and if you can watch them, and they stand out because they're so good.
Totally.
And, and they're such athletes. I mean, they're so powerfully built, and they're. It's. I think it's something that sets our town apart. In winter, it adds that sort of international vibe that we've been missing for these 3 years.
Yeah, look, it's really cool to have those guys back in town, have the teams there, and if anyone's coming up to Coronet Peak, I'd encourage them to try and get over to Rocky Gully and just stand there and watch them ski past. It's incredible the speed and power they ski with. Yeah, it
gives you something to aspire to, doesn't it, Paul?
Yeah, that's right. And one of the things they love about being here, a lot of them are rock stars in Europe, but here they kind of go under the radar, so they can kind of do their thing and come off the mountain and go and play golf or relax in the afternoon. They love it.
Yeah, that's true. It's perfectly set up, and I was really happy to read that we were getting the American women's team and a few others, and it just takes you back to the good old days, and long may it continue, I guess. And particularly, I mean, this year you can proudly say, well, look, the snowpack's great. Get amongst it.
Yep, totally. Yeah, absolutely. And they'll be training out there well into September with the snowpack we've got.
Yeah, see, that's great. And just in terms of, closing up, you can't predict the future, can you really? But what's your feeling about how long we can drag the season out for this year?
Well, Remarkables will be going all the way to the end of the October school holidays, and we're actually looking at Coronet Peak now and thinking that is looking pretty good. Maybe we should extend. So watch this space.
Okay, nice one, Paul. We'll keep you posted, listeners. And thanks once again for your time, Paul. Have a great afternoon.
Pleasure. Cheers.
Good to talk. Thank you. All right, so Paul Anderson, NZSki, just chatting about the plans for the Remarkables mountain range and the ski field there. Lots of money going to be spent and lots of improvements to facilities. It's going to be the premier ski field, they reckon. Certainly a very sunny place to ski, and that's what the locals love about it. Sometimes in July, Coronet, and you've got a -5 morning or whatever, and you get up there and there's not a lot of sun for a while, and for the lily-livered people like myself, that's not that appealing. So Remarks is nice and wide and open with good sunshine. So big plans to change and improve that mountain. I'll be interested to see what public response there is to those plans as well. I guess they have to tread warily these days with things they do to make sure the environment is kept intact and everything is done in the right way to make sure that we leave as little a footprint as we can on Mother Nature. It's where would Queenstown be without the Remarkables, for goodness sakes? Right, you're listening to Leanne on Southbeat. Nice to have your company. We're talking fashion after